Hi guys, welcome to part 10 of Angular tutorial series for absolute beginners by TechTechTuts in 2019. So guys, from now on, from this video tutorial and onward, I'm going to use Angular 8 to create my upcoming video tutorials. So in today's video tutorial, we are going to talk about components, that what are the components, how to create them and how to use them with Angular 8. So without any further ado, without any if and buts, let's get into the tutorial. So let's create a new Angular 8 app using command line. I have already installed, as you can see, I can show you here as well, set ng version. I have already installed Angular version 8 and you can see here Angular CLI version is 8.0. Let me zoom in so you can see it clearly. And you can also install it by using npm install -g @angular CLI @next. Using @next, it always install the latest beta version, and with the use of @latest, it will install the latest stable versions. And also you can install the older Angular 5 version as well using the same command. So hopefully you will also be using Angular 8 by following my this tutorial series. So let's create a new Angular app. So I will create ng new and I will type here help to show you some help that what we can do with ng new. So as you can see here, we have lots of options with ng new command. Let me zoom out a little bit so that I can. Okay, so these are some options that we can create collections, we can commit, we can create application, we can create defaults, directory, driver. These are the options, but the options I'm going to use by creating new application is ng new, ng8 app, and then I will use minus minus routing is equal to false. I'm not going to work on routing yet. And after that, minus minus style is equal to css. I'm going to use css style. Then I will use capital S, so it will not include any kind of tests within the new skeleton application, which will save some of our space. And then I will also use -g, so that it will ignore the git and it will not set up git for us, because I'm not going to upload it on GitHub or any on git platform. So that's why I'm using this script, these parameters, and then I will press enter and it will create ng8 app. So wait for a minute and it will be installed successfully. So now it's installing and almost installation is completed, and let me show you what I used for these switches. So as you can see here, it's only creating app component.css, app component.html and app component.ts. You will not find any kind of app component.spec.ts file, because we are not going to include tests. And when we will go to the tutorial where we will create tests, then I will show you what are those tests and how to use them. So for the time being, I have installed it on the root. So let me move it to the desktop. So mv ng8 app to desktop. So then I will go to desktop and cd ng8 app, and I will open it in my Visual Studio Code editor. And as per the new problems in Angular from Angular 7, there is a small problem in angular.json file that you have to remove ES5 browser support from the angular.json to make it work for with ngserve or ngbuild. If you don't remove it, ngserve and ngbuild will give you error. So I have already now I have removed it, and after that I will go to the terminal and will run ngserve command and -o, so then it will open in the default browser. So our application has been successfully compiled, and now it will be loaded into our default browser. And here you will see, sorry, yeah, here it is. We have successfully installed Angular's 8 application. So welcome to ng8 app. So now let's talk about the components and how to create them, how to use them, and what are those components. I have created a small presentation or I have written a few lines of code to show you that what is a component in Angular. So in Angular component, a component controls a piece of screen called view. So components are used for viewing purpose. It is a view part of your Angular. So this view is defined by the template associated to the component. So with the component, we associate a template which can be an HTML template, and I will show you how you see those templates. Also, a component handles the user interaction with the view template, pass data and properties to the view and update it dynamically. So with the help of components, we can interact with the user, we can do different things, we can change data, we can process data, we can add, remove, delete, update data and properties dynamically while our application is running. And also a component is a TypeScript class. So basically a component is a TypeScript class with a decorator called @components, and we have already discussed about decorators, what are they and how to use them in my part 2 or I think part 3. So this is a small introduction of components. So let's see how can we create new components and use them inside our Angular app. So to create components inside Angular, you can either use built-in VS Code terminal or you can use your own terminal. So I'm running on the terminal the ngserve command. So let me use VS Code integrated terminal. So I will go to view and then click on terminal and it will open my terminal. Make sure you are in the correct folder. So here to generate component, you simply need ng generate C and I will put a help here. So you can see the different options before creating the components. So here are the options you can use with ng generate component. I have written it ng g and c because g stands for generate and c stands for components. You can either write it ng generate component minus minus help and it will give you the same output. So as you can see, there are lots of options here. So change detection, the change detection strategy to use in the new component, entry component. When true, the new component is the entry component, and by default we have app component as an entry component, so we don't need to use any of these parameters for the time being. We will see that we can create flat component, inline style components where the style sheet will not be a separated file, it will be included within the component. And also the template we can create in built-in template or we can create a separate HTML file, send lint things module, and these are lots of options. So let's create a home component. Let me create ng generate component and I will name it home with a capital H. I will not be going to use any options, and as you have seen that from when I created this Angular skeleton app, I used two switches, -s and -g. So with the help of -s, the spec file will not be created. So I don't need to use minus minus spec here because I've already make it true not to use the test files. So I will simply do ng generate component home and it will create three files, a CSS file, a TS file and an HTML file. It will not create spec.ts because I'm skipping out a spec tests. So I will simply create ng generate component home, and in the app folder inside and you can see here it has created three files: app home.component.css, home.component.html, home.component.ts, and it also updates app.module.ts. Why it did this, let me show you. So as you create your own component, it will create a folder with the name of that component which you have used here, and then within that folder it will create three files: home.component.css, home.component.html. So basically these are the you can say these are the directives which we integrate within our application. So for that it also need to import it in our default module. So inside app.module.ts file, it has imported home component, import home component from home.component. So this home.component means home.component.ts file. And then if when you import any component, it must be added into your declaration array. If you don't add it here, it will not work within your application. Let me show you what exactly do I mean. So I want to use now this component within our app.component dot app component. So we need to add it inside app.component.html. So let me remove these links from here, or let me remove all of the application except this. Let me remove the image as well. Let me remove this one and let it to be like this, welcome to the title. And then if you go to your component dot home.component.ts file, you will see here that we have imported ng on init and component from Angular core. Then we use at the rate component decorative, and it have three parameters, three key value pairs, which is by default selector. This selector means now we have an HTML element with the name of app-home, and we can add it anywhere inside HTML, just like normal HTML tags. And when you use this app-home, it will load this app home component.html and this home component.css file. You can have multiple CSS files here. As you can see, it is an array of arguments with the home style sheet URL s. It is URL less and multiple URLs, and this one is template URL, single URL. So it means we can only have single HTML, and this is our class which will be exported and which will be responsible for adding, updating, and dynamically communicating with the user interaction. So we will see this as well in action pretty soon. So let me execute this. When I will run this app-home inside our app component, it will show me this code. It will show me p homework, which is home.component.html. So I will go to app.component.html and simply I will do here app-home, and when I will save it, and my compiler will recompile our code, and then if I go to my browser, it will show welcome to ng8 app, and then it says home works. So it means our default component has been loaded successfully. Now why do we need to add it in app.module.ts? Let me show you. I will simply remove it from the ng module decorator and I will save it. As soon as I will do that, my application has been broken down, and if I inspect the element, it will show me in the console some errors that app.home is not a known element. So Angular don't know what kind of element is this. So it means I have to add it inside a declaration array to show that it is a component and it will be compiled successfully. So now it will recompile and homeworks will show. So this is the basic component, and this is how you create as many components as you want, and you can add them anywhere on your home page. So guys, this was our video tutorial for today, and in the next video tutorial we will work out more about components, and we will see some data bindings within this component, and we will interact with this component as well. So hopefully you understand what is a component, how to create it, and how to use it within Angular app. So we will meet in the next video tutorial. Till then, thank you very much, take care, and goodbye.